Hey yo, it's Lano and welcome back to another episode of Solely Survival. In last episode, we did all of this and I really like how this whole area has turned out. But now I want to turn my attention to somewhere else over in our starter area. So I'm not planning on building on this island yet. I know this island is very bland. It needs something. I'm gonna figure that out. That's coming soon, hopefully, maybe-ish. I don't know, we'll figure something out. But over here is where I want to do some work today after I remember to clear this whole thing out. I've been meaning to do this for a little while now. But over here, I've got something in mind. So right here, I've been wanting to do a quarry type of deal, and I'm not sure how I'm going to pull that off. I actually had like a really large idea in mind for this area, and honestly, I'm just thinking that's going to be a lot more work than I can commit to, for one thing. And for another, there's going to be a ton of terraforming involved, and there's just going to be a bunch of extra stuff that has to get done with it, and I actually kind of have another idea in mind for it that I think is going to be really cool. It's still going to be Quarry. It's not going to be the original plan that I had in my mind. Will you guys ever see that plan? I have no idea. But we will eventually get around to doing something larger for a quarry. I really like the idea of doing one, but for now, I have something pretty special in mind for this area, and it's going to be different. I've never actually done a quarry before, so that'll be interesting. But before we get to that, there is something else that I want to do. So for the last couple of episodes, I have been rocking the iron armor and the iron tools, and while I have nothing against all of this iron stuff, I do think it's time to go ahead and make an upgrade. Where did I put my diamonds? Right in here. Okay. And sticks should be here. So I do think I'm going to go ahead and start making tools. I'm probably going to leave the armor alone for now, just because I know I don't have enough to do a full set of armor. So I think I'm going to go ahead and at least get the tools prepared so we can get this quarry started and get that going. Okay, I've got a full set of the diamond tools now, and I went ahead and I retired all of the iron ones. And I think that's pretty good. I don't have any enchants on these tools yet, which is fine. I don't really need them right now anyway. I don't want to rush into that. But I do want to go ahead and get started on getting some of this stuff done over here. So as you can probably tell, I've got a lot of deforesting in this area that needs doing, and I am probably going to go ahead and put in a copy of this bridge, but over here, just so this way I can easily get back and forth across this area and then start getting things done, I guess. I don't really know exactly what I plan on doing over here just yet. Like, I have a general idea, but nothing set in stone just yet. I do know that the quarry is going to live probably right here in this area. I want there to be like maybe 1 or 2 cranes around here, and then there's going to be an easy way up and down. I'm not entirely sure just how I'm going to do all of that yet, and probably for the first little while, my easy way up and down is probably just going to be ladders, which is really going to be horrendous, but I've got to do what I got to do, I guess, so I'm going to have to make it work, mainly because we haven't been to the nether yet, and I'm a little terrified to go to the nether right now. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to start things off. I'm going to go ahead and get started on deforesting some of this, and I will cut to you guys here in a bit. Alright, so I am done deforesting this area, and it was really not that much work, but my diamond axe is pretty much almost dead now, so there's that. But yeah, this whole area here has been deforested, and I really don't know how I plan on doing this quarry just yet. I am actually thinking of using this little divot right here and making this into the quarry, specifically this little corner right here that's already lower. I feel like I could naturally terraform around here and make the land kind of beat up and kind of tie everything in, I guess. Not really sure just yet how I intend on doing that. But while I was doing that, I had to do a bunch of terraforming over there and over here, and I got this bridge put in and a pathway put in. So this whole area does look a little bit better in my opinion. We now have this path going all the way around the pond, and then I have gotten this bridge connected up to this area, and there's no pathway here yet, obviously, because there's nothing back there just yet. But I did have to terraform around here because this curve that was right here was just a little too bland. It looked not very natural, and it looks like we have visitors over there. I'm gonna stay over here for a minute. But yeah, so I did that. And then over here, I had to terraform a little bit around here, which you can see I missed some of the sand. And then right here, I had to bring all of this out because originally it kind of stopped like right here. And it was just a little flat and it needed something. So I added that there. And I completely meant to go in and get rid of this gravel right here and put dirt in its place, which I will get around to doing that. That'll be something I can do here in a little bit. Not really too worried about it right this second. But for now, I've got to figure out exactly what I want to do up here. So give me just a little bit to kind of plan out what I want to do and I will get back with you. Okay, so I have done some tinkering around here and I kind of have an idea for what I want to do. And those pillagers are still back there. That one is just struggling. Anyway, what I've decided is I'm going to just go ahead and use this corner right here. And I'm going to kind of flatten out this area, but kind of mark out this specific area in the way that I want it to look. And I'm going to use the environment to kind of shape how I want this area to look. Like there's going to be a crane, and there's going to be probably some ore deposits laying around. And by ore deposits, I mean probably just stacks of stone until I can get silk touch. But yeah, for now, that is going to be the plan. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this just yet. This is going to take a lot of work and by the looks of it, a lot of terraforming. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and I guess I will update you when I see the vision. Alright, so this landmass is done being terraformed now, and it looks a lot better. It looks a lot cleaner for one, and it's definitely, well, just more presentable to the eye, I guess. There are a couple of bits that need to be changed, like some of these harsh corners like this right here. I'm not a fan of this when I terraform, by the way. If you haven't been able to tell, I leave like no harsh edges around any of my curves. I think it doesn't look super natural that way, I guess. So I need to kind of clean up some of this area. But anyway, that's besides the point. I did go ahead and smoothen out this area in particular, even though I'm not building out here in this area. And the reason being that in later episodes, I plan on expanding all of this as well. So we wasn't only focusing over here and here and over here. I want everything around the island to be covered in things at some point, whether it be farms, random builds, just whatever. And that's kind of the goal. I've got a lot envisioned for this area. I'm not entirely sure what specifically, but I could definitely see there being just like a big medieval city type thing just going all the way around here. And I even have a couple of ideas for that jungle that's back there, though if I ever get around to that, I have no idea. So in the meantime, you're probably wondering what this big birch circle is right here, and well, that is where the hole for the quarry is gonna go. So what I am thinking, and apparently I missed somewhere in there with the lights, but what I'm thinking down here is that I want to stone up these walls and kind of make it look like this area has started being excavated. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, I'm not digging all the way down to -54 for this. I'm not a madman. I mean, I am a madman, but I'm not that big of a madman. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just dig this out just a little bit more and kind of stone up the walls a little bit, kind of texture it and things like that. And in one of the walls, I'm going to make it look like there was a little bit of like a cave entrance or something there. And the goal is to kind of make it look like, well, the people who are excavating this area, they found that cave entrance and they wanted to check it out before they started excavating further. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. So this is not going to go all the way down. This is just going to go down a little bit further, and then it's going to get textured and detailed and everything else, and then it's going to get turned into like a normal mine entrance from where I'm sitting. And that's pretty much where I sit with that. Again, I'm not a madman, or well, I am, but I'm not digging all the way down to -54 for a mine like this. I mean, I'm gonna have to, but not in this big of a circle shape. My tools will not allow for it. As you can see, my axe and my shovel are almost dead just from doing all of this. So I'm just not gonna worry with that right now. I might change that later on though. Who knows? We'll see what kind of time I have later this season. But yeah, that's kind of the thought process on that. And one thing that I was trying to figure out is how I'm going to make it kind of connect up to the scaly spawner, which is kind of leading me back off in this direction. I don't know why I didn't use that bridge over there. But one thing that I noticed, and I kind of did this while I was down there at the scaly spawner, is so the scaly spawner is actually like right on about here. Yeah, right here. So it's directly underneath the island. So if you look up from here, you can kind of see the storage room is right in this area. And what I'm thinking is at some point, I might just connect up like a little elevator with the storage room and that skelly spawner just to make that more accessible, because I'm gonna need that going forward, especially for all of the bones and everything. Because, well, 121 is around the corner, the new dogs are around the corner. I'm definitely gonna want those with the bones and everything, but also my addiction to bone meal, which we're not gonna talk about. So with that being said and out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and get started on kind of cleaning up this here, and then maybe adding in some of the, perimeter items around here, like rails and the crane and everything else that I can think of that'll fit this area. I don't want this to be the smallest area in the world, I'm going to tell you now, but I also don't want it to just be super extensive either. So I'm going to have, a lot on my hands trying to get this planned out. But I guess with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. All right, so I finished recording this episode in its entirety, and I threw it in DaVinci, getting ready to edit it, and then I realized that all of my audio levels were completely off for the last half of the video. So I'm having to cut quite a bit of the video out, and I do apologize if this video ends up being shorter than the average one that's on my channel. I can't do anything about it. It is what it is. Windows decided to reset my microphone levels. OBS didn't reset anything. OBS was perfectly fine. It was just Windows. So thank you, Windows, for doing that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what I did manage to do and kind of fill you in on some things that you will miss because of, well, cut content. So I finished getting a path put in place, and I ran it right over here to the finished quarry. Or I say finished, there's still some minor things that I want to do to it, but for now it's done. So what I've done is I've added this chain link fence around here, and essentially I just used the iron bars and kind of connected them up to these stone pillars here. And this is a design that Waddles used way back in his 1.15 series, I think it was. So it's been a very good minute since this design was introduced, and it's not anything fancy, but I think it fits the area quite nice and I really like it, so I'm sticking with it. And then in here, we've got this crane put in. So I did a live stream and I made a crane design and then realized I didn't like it, because from back here, if you would look over, the colors of the original crane design was really blending into all of the dirt and everything else that was surrounding that area, and it did not look good from that angle anyway. So I changed it up and I brought over this same design that I used over in the first season of Solo Survival. And the only differences that I made was I made the base a bit girthier, so this way we have well, some sort of support holding this thing up, because it did look a little silly in the last season when I built it. And then up there towards the top here, I added in these grindstones with these rails, or the chains that's going all the way over to, the other grindstone, and it looks like it's lowering and raising this here thing with the barrels, the crafting table, and the chest. And the ladders kind of make it look more like a basket that is, well, containing all of this, and the rails are there to kind of act like they are supporting it to kind of hold everything in. And this is essentially to make it look like anybody that's working down there is able to, well, send up resources or take down resources or whatever they might need. And then I added in these boulders in various places throughout the area. I feel like it just looked fitting. I wanted to use, well, ore blocks, but I don't have Silk Touch yet, so for now this is what we're getting. And as you can see here on the ground, I used a bunch of coarse dirt and a bunch of sand. So the sand is a part of the cut content that I wanted to bring up. Way off in that direction over here, there was a desert. And that desert was right beside a Badlands biome, which we will be back to because I really, really like the terracotta blocks. Lately, I've just really fallen in love with those blocks, so I know I'm going to be back over there for the terracotta specifically. But I went over there for the sand, and then I ended up getting a bunch of coarse dirt as well. Just kind of make this whole area look more rough. Make it look, I guess, more like, well, a lot of heavy machinery might have been here, or things like that, just not anything too major, but enough to kind of really break up this area. And that sand is also a really nice contrast from all the grays and all the darker colors that's in this area, so I really like how that looks as well. And then, whoops, not that button. On down here is where we have the quarry. So I did, or well, the mining hole. So I did dig this down a little ways, and I made this wraparound staircase that leads all the way around and all the way down here, and it leads to this area, which is where the actual mine entrance is going to go, which I was gonna wait until next episode before I actually went mining, because I had already put so much work into this episode. I wanted it to, well, be done and get it out to you guys and just save that for, well, next episode. But that kind of ended up kind of botching all my plans. This is still going to be saved for next episode, but I am still a little salty over Windows doing its thing. But anyway, that's not the point. So yeah, this area down here also still needs to be textured and detailed and everything, because right now this is not really so, but that's fine. I can take care of that later on. I'm not too worried about it right now. But yeah, I think that just about covers it for everything that I've done over here. And I realized that, well, me monologuing all this has probably made the video shorter than my average video on this channel. But, I mean, I did just have to cut like 12 minutes worth of content because of audio settings. I'm not salty, you're salty. Anyway, I think that's going to be it. I don't really have anything else I want to do in this episode. Like I said, I'm going to wait to actually do the mining in next episode. And there's not really anything else that I feel like needs to be covered right now. So yeah, that's probably a good place to go ahead and leave this episode for now. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to show your support by liking the video, commenting down below, subscribing to the channel, all that jazz, you know, the usual stuff. And, be sure to go check out all the videos over on the Craftworks server as well, because I've got a lot of impressive builds going on over there. Anyway, my name is Lane. I will catch you guys in the next one.